Today we're going to talk about something that I have mixed feelings about, and that is working for free. I hear a lot of this from serial entrepreneurs and super realtors about finding the right person and latching onto them and learning what you can, but there's a time and a place for working for free, and I'm going to talk about what I think about this whole concept in today's episode. When should you work for free? There are definitely situations where working for free is the only way to get your foot in the door and to make an impression on someone and gain experience. So in a sales-based industry, in a commission-based industry like real estate, I definitely recommend getting on a team, getting with a seasoned real estate agent, and getting some experience. If you're a young person looking to start out in this industry, and I did the same thing, I went and got my real estate license at 18 years old. I tried my hand, I joined a big firm, but I kind of got lost in the crowd and I had a deal fall apart and I got discouraged. And that's when I went back to school and got my accounting degree and then came back into real estate after completing my education. But if I had jumped in with an experienced person, put in the same hours for free, but with a team, with a seasoned veteran, I would have probably not gotten discouraged so quickly. So if that phone rings and a big realtor in your area is willing to take you under their wing and join their team, do it. Because there's very few times in your life you're gonna get the opportunity to learn side by side with someone and they're gonna share potentially their trade secrets with you. You gotta fake it till you make it, right? You gotta mimic the success that they've had, pick up on their work habits, and you're gonna notice some things consistent across people that have attained some real serious success. They're focused, they start early, they do things for their own personal development. Even when no one's looking, they're reading, they're studying, and be a sponge, take those things in, but within reason. And we're gonna talk about when not to work for free. Another chance where another industry or time where you're probably gonna do some work for free is as a student. Let's say you're putting together your resume and you have very limited professional experience. Internship can add a lot to your resume. So take the opportunity to grab a summer internship, and in some industries they're paid, right? Like accounting, I did an internship at PwC and that was a paid internship and they paid you hourly based on what your pay would be as a first-year associate, but a lot of industries don't do that. So if you got the opportunity to be an intern at a social media firm, at a technology firm, get that on your resume, build your rapport with your supervisor, and even if that internship doesn't turn into an opportunity right away, you have something on your resume now that is directly pertaining to your area where you've gotten your education. Also, volunteerism. Now, I don't look at that as work, and neither should you, but volunteerism is something that can add a lot to your one-dimensional resume. It can show that you are a passionate person, a caring person, an altruistic person. So definitely volunteerism is another opportunity where you can build your resume and gain valuable experience. So those are kind of the three areas where it's acceptable to work for free, but you have to gauge when you've sort of crossed the line from working for free and gaining experience and insight to where now you're sort of doing somebody else's work and not being paid for it. So that's a perfect segue into the next segment, which is when you shouldn't work for free. So when should you not work for free? There's definitely gonna be a time after you've worked for someone for a certain amount of time where you're gonna know their system, you're gonna know how they're operating, and you're gonna know that you brought clients through the door. You're gonna know that you've worked those hours, put in the time, built a rapport, and now you're basically being taken advantage of. So this is the time where you should talk to your supervisor, look at your resume and say, do I have enough here where I can move on to the next opportunity? Has my growth at this internship or this on this team, has it matured? Has it stagnated? So let me give you an example. You should never be doing, first of all, you should never be doing physical labor for anybody for free. If you're working on a job site and unloading truckloads of material, if you're adding value by being your carpenter's apprentice and running tools back and forth for the truck at the end of the day, and making dumpster runs, and making cuts and so on, you should get paid, all right? If you go to a Home Depot and pick up a helper for the day, they're gonna want 150 or 200 bucks for the day, right? So don't be a fool, okay? You're adding value, you should get paid. Now, you're definitely picking up invaluable, priceless experience and information along the way, but if the person you're working for has your best interests in mind, and you have this conversation with them, even if they've sort of ignored it or put it off, you put in a couple months, you've gotten that line on your resume or your LinkedIn or wherever, now it's time to get paid. You know, everyone's got bills, even if you live at home with your parents. You got a cell phone bill, you got car insurance, you got a car payment, you got to take your significant other out on dates and so on. So these things all cost money, and you can't go to work all day and then ask your mom and dad for money at night. So it's time to get paid. Now, another situation is you're working at a firm, an accounting firm or some kind of professional services firm, and you've done your summer internship. It hasn't translated into a full-time position. They're not going to ask you back next summer, and you're just still running papers and doing administrative work and not being paid. It's time to talk to your supervisor, get on some good terms with them, and tell them that you've had another opportunity that's come along, and move on. And you'll know when the times come where you've sort of extracted maximum value and it's time to move on. So those are sort of the times where it's not okay to work for free. You've run the course of wherever you are, the opportunity that you're in, and now you sort of gotta evaluate your next move. So what's your next move? Maybe you haven't gotten that opportunity to work for somebody for free yet. So how do you do that? Well, now there's no excuse. Pretty much anyone can be reached. You can send them a DM, you can send them an email, you can get creative, make a video, do what it takes to set you apart from the next person. I get a lot of inquiries about this stuff. How do I get to where you are at? How do I get to what you're doing? It doesn't work like that. You gotta start with baby steps, you gotta shadow the right people, and you gotta make what you bring to the table appealing. You can't just jump the gun and be the man. You gotta work your way up, and you gotta somehow convince that person that your work ethic, that your experience, that you're bringing to the table is gonna somehow add value to them. Picture somebody like Ryan Serhant or Ro Habibi. How many times a day does someone send them a message and say, hey man, I wanna be just like you? That sounds great, but what did they have to do to get to that point? I get people that hit me up all the time. Hey man, I can't wait to be on your level. I lost a lot of sleep, I've lost a lot of time, a lot of money. You can't see them, but I got a couple gray hairs too now, and I'm still not where I wanna be, but if you wanna do what I'm doing, you gotta raise capital, you gotta get some experience as a realtor, you gotta do things, you gotta make sacrifices. So on that note, get motivated, get focused, and understand that working for free is something that's necessary in today's economy, in some of the industries where you see some hyper successful people, but there's a time and a place to work for free, and you must recognize when that has run its course. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel and check me out on Instagram @Pinnacle Real Estate. I look forward to seeing you guys next week on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching.